New content.
Great content.
Yeah.
Only exclusively on KXVS.
Yes. If you and on this video will be a link in the description where you can click it. But if you want to type it in, we made it real easy for you. Bit.ly, the short link, bit.ly. So you can type bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. So bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. That's easy enough, right, Donovan? Donovan is the silent minority.
Speechless.
I'm trying to get my accent right. Hold on. I'm just throwing over it in my head. Let me start. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. How to do it? All right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go subscribe to this new channel. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, what's different about this channel than the last one?
Well,
what's changed?
Well, we're making some changes. We're always doing something new, but this is something that we had to do this, and we've had to do this for a while. So this new channel, it's really not much different, except the channel will be different. So all our new content is going on the channel, and we're going to migrate all our videos over to that channel as well, and we won't be using the old channel. So if you're waiting on that channel, you'll be missing it. So please do subscribe to our new channel, and it's real easy. Follow us on Facebook, thevoiceofstockton.org. You can find us everywhere. Keep watching us on our live streams, but that's it. We just wanted to break in and tell you that.
And let's make Stockton better together.
That's right. Make Stockton better together. All right. So, you know what? Let's start this track over because this is the best bomb song. And thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. KXVS, the voice of Stockton, with Donovan and Mr. Details, Dustin Breakwell. This is Governor Don signing off.
My name is Miriam, and I am the voice of Stockton.
This broadcast will start in 60 seconds. This broadcast will start in 45 seconds. This broadcast will start in 30 seconds. This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS The Voice of Stockton or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hi everyone, this is Laura Garcia.
And I'm Ben Sanchez, and you are listening to Challenge Mode on KXVS, The Voice of Stockton.
We're here. We're live. I thought Dustin was going to do an intro. You want to do a quick intro?
Hey, Ben, what's up?
Hi.
Hey, you want me to do a quick intro? Mm-hmm. Quick intro? What did I just say? But never mind.
Intro.
I don't know what I said. But you're listening to Challenge Mode with the one and only Ben Sanchez.
Thank you.
Tell us about this theme music real quick, though.
The theme music? It's great.
Okay.
We've been waiting on it for a while. We did some recordings with a couple of guests that we've had on previous shows, and got them to sit down in the booth, and we did several takes and doing some intros, outros, breaks, and things like that. If you're interested, if you're a former guest, if you're a future guest, please let me know. We can schedule something. We can sit in and record a couple of breaks and intros and kind of rotate them in and out. That was kind of the goal of when I was creating the show. I always wanted the guests to feel more a part of the show. And
as we said on one previous episode, it only took 11 episodes.
It only took 11 episodes. It only took one season for that to happen, but
Season 2, right?
Pilot season.
Yeah, it was a pilot season. We weren't even...
Pedro's the first guest of Season 2.
Yeah, first guest of Season 2. should feel special. Episode 11.
Yeah, because episode 10 was off the rails.
It was off the. He says it's off the rails because he was like the highlight of the show. Like he came in here with. He got comfortable. He took a little mic off.
I wasn't actually having to run the board.
Oh, like you can actually do that. You can.
Yeah, and he was just sitting here holding it, with a mic, and he got comfortable. And Donovan was on the boards, episode 10, so it was a little different for
the
Dustin.
season finale. I don't know if any better is going to get better than that.
I think it can get a lot better.
Okay,
it's gonna get much better.
But what's the show about today, Ben? And take it away.
All right, so we're here back on Challenge Mode. In case you haven't tuned in for the past 10 episodes, we're usually live Wednesdays at 8. This is a special episode because we couldn't schedule it for Wednesday, and so Sunday is the best day we could come up with.
Well, trying for Saturday.
Yeah, trying for Saturday, but this nap time and snack time and all these other things came up. So Challenge Mode obviously is the entrepreneur show on KXVS. We highlight entrepreneurs in the Central Valley. They come on, share their story, talk about the brand and the highs and lows of what it takes to run a business. And so we've had a lot of incredible guests. Pedro's coming back for round 2. He's been on. You were on 2 episodes because you were on a round table with Mark and Laura, and we were kind of talking about pricing and things like that. And then you were on a episode before that, just talking about Roadfinch. So you're back today, and why we have Pedro back today is because he was a part of a co-working space in Stockton called Huddle. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with co-working spaces, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the impact of co-working spaces, across the globe and the importance of that. But more in particular, the kind of what Pedro's experience was with Huddle, and just we're focusing on 1.0. I don't know if anybody knows that we've kind of dubbed this Huddle 1.0 and 2.0, and please don't touch things that you're not supposed to touch. Yeah, don't want any technical difficulties going on here. And so we've dubbed it Huddle 1.0, which was on North San Joaquin Street. You probably have visited there before, over the past several years before they moved. And, of course, the new Huddle 2.0 is in the second floor of the building, and second, third floors. So there's going to be quite a difference there. But we won't talk about what's going on with the new Huddle because we'll have some other people that have already been there, that have been, offices, or we'll have Matt come in and kind of explain, what the vision is and what's been going on with Huddle 2.0. But Pedro's here to talk about his experience with Huddle. Now, tell me how you got involved with Huddle. How did you find out about that when that was first coming about, and what year was that?
So that was back in 2014. This was before I had actually started any operations in Stockton, and I was looking around. It was actually through one of the chambers in town that somebody had told me of a co-working space in downtown. And it was funny because before that, I would just meet in Starbucks with like other entrepreneurs, and we would all try and figure out like what's happening in the area. Like, oh, what can we do to help each other out? Yeah. And out of the 5 people that was initially part of that little Starbucks group, nobody knew about Huddle. And it's sort of funny because when I went in there for the first time, the place was immaculate. It was like something that you'd find out in the Bay Area. Co-working spaces are definitely something that if you need to get out of your house and clear your head, having a nice
small space,
more professional, puts you in the mindset that you want to be professional as well.
Because you not only had just this small little office spaces you could rent out, you also had that big open space,
the conference room, and then it was sort of funny because when I walked in there, they had the large center space, which was all the co-working, and I saw a few people sitting in there, and it almost felt like a library experience, but...
A library?
Yeah,
a library?
A library.
A library? Yes. Library.
But it was different because I've always used to go to the library before, and you'd sit there...
Cool whip? I'm sorry.
Cool whip?
Cool whip?
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 Whip? Yes. Cool whip. Continue.
But yeah, it was something that after being able to go to the space, there were a couple offices. So if you're ever in the mindset that you want to get a small office and don't want to have the overhead costs of like PG&E, water, garbage, insurances, co-working spaces like Huddle are definitely some place to look at. And you never went to the Sacramento one. With,
yes, I did. So that's what we'll talk. We'll talk about that too. So, but before we go into the Hive and the one in San Francisco is the Impact Hub. The Hive is in Sacramento. Those are also co-working spaces. Kind of talk about what you feel is, what was the idea behind co-working when you first got in there? What do you think? What do you think was going to happen? It's like, oh, I got my own little space.
Well, yeah.
Am I going to talk to people or not? Or
no, it was sort of funny because like coming into this space in the Huddle, and I know every single co-working space is going to be different because there was something we always joked about, that Huddle didn't have the same fire that it did when we were there.
Right.
And it's a honeypot, like a whole bunch of people. Cliff was there at the time. There were other people. Raul had an office. And it's this
JD.
synergy of people working together before they start like going their different ways.
Yeah.
But when I first got there, I really just thought that I was just going to keep to myself just in the office, just working on things. And little did I know that people start coming over, and it sort of seems like just a big house, like you're in a Big Brother home.
Okay, yeah.
And like people are coming around like, oh, what are you working on today? And it's like, oh, nothing. And it's like you walk down the hall, just even go to the bathroom or the coffee shop behind. You're always running into people and getting a little sidetracked. But the other thing that I wasn't expecting was a lot of the people that had businesses there were bringing in referrals. It's like, hey, wow, we saw your idea. It was great. I got a client that's looking for exactly what you have. So in a way, a co-working space, I think, is a better logical choice than going out and getting like a brick and mortar or spending a whole bunch of money on a building and not knowing if your idea is fully going to work out.
Right.
So,
if you're not ready to make that commitment or to follow through on that step,
Yeah.
you know, this is a good option to have where you can, you know, because I think, and that's the thing too, is what I notice as well as, you know, you get distracted a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other entrepreneurs can relate to this, is you get distracted when you're at home with different things. And so having a place to go, like very much like a similar feel like of a library, it was very quiet when I first visited Huddle 1.0, and, you know, a lot of the different things that were happening in there, you know, I think were great. Like, I think I had some great interactions when I first started there, and I met you and Cliff, Raul, and JD, and a lot of these people that were a part of this community. I had some interesting interactions with them, and you can talk in this big open room, and there's a whiteboard, and you're kind of, and the great thing is you're bouncing ideas off each other, and you're trying to better help, you know, the other person with their business. So sitting down, kind of learning about them, learning about what their business does, and then going from there. I remember having discussions with different people about what the strengths of the businesses are, what the strengths of their, you know, personality is, and what they feel that they're really strong at, what they feel that they're weakest at, and where you can actually help them or give them advice. And then, you know, I thought that was a really cool idea to have. And co-working spaces aren't really new. They've been around for years.
Yeah.
But it's new. Huddle was new to the area.
It's funny. They've been around for years, and people still don't know about them.
Right.
Even nowadays, people don't know that there's a space that you can go with a whole bunch of other offices.
Yeah.
I think they're around. There's those little office parks, but they don't have like a center big area that anyone can just come in with a laptop and just work, almost like that library setting. But
yeah, so let's talk about the experiences we had in the ventures over in which one do you want to talk about first? Sacramento, San Francisco?
Well, actually, I'll jump back to ours when we had our little office.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about a co-working space is you're always working in there, and whatever happens in the space. I was actually chatting with Sean yesterday, and I remember he was in our office, like doing something on the computer, and I took a hard-boiled egg to the microwave because I had swore I saw somewhere that if you microwave an egg, the shell comes off easier, just for like 10 seconds.
And don't do that. don't do that, please.
Well, no, actually, go ahead and try it. Just put it in the microwave for 15 seconds, and the egg shell will fly off. But back to the co-working, Sean heard it along with everyone else in the office, like, pow, like a gunshot.
Everyone else was like, what?
Yeah, they all come back, and I remember Sean like walked into the co-op kitchen, just looked at the microwave, looked back at me, shook his head, and I'm not cleaning that.
Yeah.
And just walked away.
Nope.
So,
Shout out to Sean. I'll tag him.
yeah, with co-working spaces, you wind up. It's the little bits of interactivity, like the human interactions, but
Yeah. Oh, and the cool thing is for people that don't know either, is there was behind Huddle that's where Trail was before they moved. So they were in the alley, and so we just would walk back because the bathrooms were in that hallway.
Yeah.
And then we just walk on into Trail. Hey, you know. And,
I don't think I was as big a coffee addict as I was after the move out of Huddle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were doing like cold brew at the time. Wasn't Gianna serving cold brew there at the time? Or you weren't in?
She had just started carrying nitro, and that was the very first time, because I remember I had it, and you were sitting like right here, and Sim was sitting over there.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, he just was talking and talking and talking, and I was like, "What did she give him?" Because I think I vaguely remember going over there for like a scone or something, and you got something, and that's what you got was nitro. Because I had no idea like what, nitro or cold brew or any of that stuff was. I wasn't a coffee drinker at all, so that I was like, I don't know if I should order that after that happened to you.
Yeah,
but that was the cool thing too. I mean, it was really it fostered its own ecosystem, and I think that's really what it's supposed to do for entrepreneurs. And so you had, that's kind of where you came out from, and you obviously catapulted from Huddle into your own brick and mortar after that.
Yeah, so it made the transition a lot easier because we already had a little bit of infrastructure, which I really recommend for anyone that your business, you want to have a whole bunch of things in place but don't have the money. Go with a co-working space. You have a lot of the bills taken care of, and then gives you enough of a sort of like you can start a nest egg and actually then jump into the brick and mortar with a lot of it covered. I know it gave us a few months runway.
Right.
So yeah. And just for the unexpected.
Yes, of course. Now tell me about a little bit about what's the importance of that though, like with the co-working space. What did you pull out of it after you left? Like
the biggest thing I think was by the time we had left, we were already in business for 2 years. We had already gone through the motions. Everything was packed. I mean, I have pictures of the office when it was empty and kept getting a little more full, more people, you spilling chips. Everyone was always spilling.
I love how he threw that in there, me spilling chips.
Well, no, because there was one spot on the rug that no matter what we did, everyone was spilling something. And I got him on candid camera with a little tag that said, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things, yes. So there's a photo floating around out there with me cleaning up all these chips that I spilled and vacuuming.
Yeah.
the carpet. So, yeah, it's either that or a wall of cans.
Well, me and Sim did the wall of cans.
Yeah, the wall of cans.
Yeah, the wall of Tecate. Yeah. I'm sorry. It was the wall of Coca-Cola, I meant to say, because we were health conscious.
Hey, Diet Coke.
Yeah,
it was Diet Coke because you were trying that new diet thing, right? that worked out.
It was a 48 pack of Diet Coke. Yep, that's what it was.
Well, and it was just you got a sense of networking, and so a lot of people I don't think know is that when I first started there, I had no idea what a startup was, what entrepreneur was, what a co-working space was, and thinking that it's just a normal paycheck and it's 9 to 5.
Oh my god!
So that totally blew me away. But the experience, no one can take that away. The experience was fantastic.
The experience is the biggest thing, and that's what I was saying earlier. It really comes down to the people that are all together, because you can have a co-working space, but if you don't have people that are always interacting, that sort of give it that life, like a Cheers episode or Friends, like that, how they're always coming around, and it's sort of...
I'll go with Cheers. I mean...
Cheers.
Yeah,
but not to say that there weren't people that were in there that already had businesses established and they just needed a place to work. What was it? The photographer. That was Preserve Studios. Shannon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
with hers, she had her entire setup, and she was already fully professional and doing things. She just needed a place to go and sit up shop, be able to work in the quiet out of her home.
Jeremy was there with Puentes.
So yeah, so by all means, you don't have to be a startup to want to go into a co-working space. You can already be a fully set up business, and you just want to have a lot of bills taken care of, or maybe even the experience of working with other businesses that are coming and going.
Yeah. Or like, they had Wi-Fi, they had printing capabilities, and so that was always a place to go print out documents and things like that. If you didn't have a conference room, that was actually a great place to meet your clients in a professional setting.
Or for employees to go and do orientations. Yeah. There's
workshops. Actually, workshops started to become a thing later on. We started seeing more workshops in the bigger space.
Utilizing the space a lot more. But at the end of it, no, I think any co-working, you were talking about the Sacramento and the San Francisco.
Yeah,
ones.
so I mean, I remember more of the Impact Hub when I went to San Francisco with you and Sim. That was like a two-story co-working space, and I mean, to get into the co-working space, like there was, I feel like there was like checkpoints, right? Like, sir, are you who are you here for? And I had to sign a guest list, and they had to.
Free Wi-Fi in the city is definitely hard.
Yeah,
to come by,
they checked my ID, and they gave me like a guest badge, and it just was like a totally different experience when I went in San Francisco to I think we had an opportunity to meet some people there, and I think one girl gave us a tour, Sim and I, a tour or something while you were.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was chatting with somebody in what looked like the cafeteria area, but it was just another.
It was really just an open kitchen. It was still cool, but I mean the space was huge, and then like you had all your open spaces on the first floor, and there was a lobby and the kitchen area and things like that. And on the second floor, you had more of the private conference rooms and the smaller office spaces, but you could see everybody because it was all glass window. The
only thing is, in like any of the bigger co-ops that are in like San Francisco or Sacramento, they love glass a lot more.
Oh yeah, that's like the design wise, it's a totally different feel, and you kind of would know that too because you did design, architecture, and things like that.
But
which is kind of like
well, you want to see more of the actual landscape compared to Huddle, which was in the middle of downtown, and the building didn't have anything nice to look at, so it was no windows.
So there was nothing. So that obviously the design and the interior was very much like that, but they didn't use as many windows like you said because there was it was only on a first floor kind of thing, whereas the other co-working spaces we've been to are on higher floors, so they use more windows to view the landscape.
There was two other ones I know you haven't been to. One of them was a Hive also.
I've been to that Sacramento one, right?
Yeah, but
I only got to step in the front door. Like Katie and I stepped in the front door, and then because we were supposed to go in for as a guest list, but then you had to pay, and the guy that invited us was a sponsor for the event, and then he totally forgot.
So you guys went all the way to San Francisco for that?
No, we went all the way out there in Sacramento for that, and then it was
Sacramento,
yeah, and then we were like,
that sucked.
we didn't have the money to get in and pay, so I mean that was his on the person that invited us, he just failed to mention that.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, I stepped in the lobby and it looked nice,
But there's a lot of co-working spaces that they have a lot of those events that they throw on. So that's the only thing you have to worry about if you go into a co-working space and say you're working late. Normally they allow you to work however many hours depending on what package you buy. Like a package might give you 24-hour access, but know that other people are using the space too. So that's the only thing, you don't have that privacy, like peace of mind. Sometimes you'll come in there and the entire building will be full, and it's like, whoa, what's happening tonight? Oh yeah, we're having a big potluck. It's like, oh great.
They definitely do. They do a lot more. I feel like they do a lot more events in San Francisco and in Sacramento. They're bringing people, they're showcasing that to bigger people.
Starting to get them too, especially with what George Parrish is doing with the speakers.
Yeah, so George Parrish is the Entrepreneur Lab there, and of course he has speakers. I feel like he has speakers like twice a month. I feel like that's correct. If not, I'll tag him
Yeah.
You know, you can ask questions about that. But
George, you have to come on the show.
yeah, I have to get George on. Actually, it'd be great just to have George on the show and get him to tell you guys about the benefits of the Entrepreneur Lab that they have set up, and the people that he has come on and they focus on different topics. That'll benefit you, in the long haul, and people that are already out there. Give either they're consulting or they have their own business and has been successful, and so he does bring a lot of exposure to that through his social media channels as well. And that's one thing I liked about it too, because you're still learning, right? And I think that's always a great thing. And that's one thing you'll learn from every entrepreneur that comes on the show. They're always learning, always adapting to, the next set of challenges. And you get a sense of camaraderie with certain people. You synergize well, I think, with certain people. And then that's like a lot of my work. You really came out of Huddle. I met a lot of people, even though I wasn't getting paid, and I got a lot of flack for, working pro bono. But that's kind of how I got.
But if you think of it, you wouldn't have the ability, because right now you're making money doing all these things. But before, without having a little bit of that background, just something to show other people that you've done, it's always harder.
Right, and that was the thing is it allowed me to create content for small business and sit down with individuals and kind of hone more of the writing and being more adaptable in writing, but also like, communicating interviews and working one-on-one with business owners to really kind of find out what their business is and to how to kind of tell that to their audience. And that's really what helped me. So regardless of how much pro bono work and how many hours, of not getting paid, that the experience is what I love the most about it, and being a part of the community and meeting more people and expanding in that aspect. So it really did help my career.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like getting money. Obviously you need it to survive, but if given the opportunity to work for free and sort of just learn a whole bunch of stuff and meet people along the way that give you a bigger portfolio. Now you have actual like experiences that you can back behind it.
Yeah,
I'd say that is a lot better. It's almost like going to school, like you're working on your education.
Right.
It's the same mindset. It's like learning the knowledge is good when you get out into the field. You have the basic knowledge, so you hope that you can start shadowing other people before you can then finally start getting paid.
Well, I would tell students, hopefully they have a combination of that, right? Hopefully they have a combination of education,
work for free forever.
Education and internship. Now, I actually recommend a lot of students at UOP that these are great internships, because we have students that, just like myself, we had, dreams and ambitions of going to work for big name places, right, throughout California or across the United States. So you don't always have those luxuries, or sometimes you don't have those contacts or those opportunities, and certain students may or may not have that. But for the students that are here, that are local, that are coming up and going into higher education, I think that getting involved with entrepreneurs and startups is a great way to learn and to gain some knowledge. And it's because like when I first started working there, like we didn't have a somebody in communication, or we didn't have somebody in public relations, and I know you had Paul Rapp work with you a lot, and that's the closest you've ever got in that before he went to go work for UOP. Go move on to UOP, which is what he really wanted to do. But to kind of step in and fill in his shoes, and of course, as a student or someone that was finishing school, and my work experience is mainly in retail and marketing, but I usually worked under somebody. So to be in a more of a leadership role and to figure, like, now I have to figure out my own schedule. Now I have to figure out, like, what are my set weekly goals? Like, what should we be accomplishing as a startup? Like a lot of it, I think the first month I feel was documentation.
Yeah.
I feel like we reviewed a lot of documents that we had. We looked at a lot of flyers that we were pushing out. How can we make these better? How can we refine these? And what are we missing? What's working? What's not working? And then after that, I think we really kind of pushed the chamber the community aspect. Because
well, that was when the chamber was coming in there, so they knew that was a spot they can get a whole bunch of people fairly close, and one person can refer to another person because obviously you're chatting with them every day.
Yeah.
No, definitely like Ben's saying, if you're in college right now and you're looking to get into the field, definitely take any. I mean, paid is always going to be good, but a lot of startups in general usually can't afford that. But any experience, whether it be just walking in and allowing to see like what their day-to-day is, a lot of times you'll find, unless you're working for one of those really big companies, are you really going to have a boss that's going to just like, all right, you got 90 things to do today, here's a list, go.
Yeah.
When you're in a startup, it's like, okay, what are we doing today?
I think it really comes down to the individual and what they want to experience. I've been in the corporate world and with different bigger companies and the corporate culture, and then I've been in the startup scene. So I really think it depends on what your goal is and what you're wanting to achieve. I definitely feel for myself personally that it was it was a benefit, and I was fortunate enough to work with all these people that are doing startup. I mean, you look at a lot of the people that are doing it already, like Valon, for example, worked in a lot of bigger places, and had a lot of that experience before starting Natural Dew. So not to say that working for a corporation is a bad thing. It's a different culture. I think it's something you should experience on your own and tell yourself, like, am I going to get the value there? Are people going to value me? And that's the thing. It's good
to have like a nice rapport of different jobs you've worked with, because then there's always going to be, especially if you're deciding to go into entrepreneurship and start your own business.
Yeah.
Even if you were specialized, like you knew everything about, let's say, videography, and you decide to start a business, there's going to be aspects like, oh, wait, accounting is an entirely different thing.
Or employees or how that works.
Like, and in even brand creation, it's like, crap. It's like, now I got to start developing all my flyers to go with this. So you'll find that, since we're on the topic of co-working spaces, there will always be someone in a co-working space that might have a talent or a skill that you might be able to collaborate together. And actually, a lot of co-working spaces, a lot of companies have actually formed in workplaces like that, because they were able to, like, hey, I got a part of an idea. Like even Sim, he came onto our team with the whole IT tech website of things, when
coding.
Originally all we were doing was bicycle advertising and some graphic arts. He came and that opened up an entire new direction, how we were going to move forward. Now we're doing web design and obviously the Finchit project that we're working on. But again, like, wouldn't have found someone like Sim if I wasn't in a co-working space, because you can put out like Craigslist posts and everything, and you're going to get people looking for jobs.
Yeah.
Like how we hooked you.
I was a Craigslist post.
He walked in there so like green. I remember he had his coat on, tie all the way up. Walked in like, "Hi, I'm here for an interview." Oh, here. I remember I was running late.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hi, here. Sit down real quick.
I have my resume.
Yeah,
it's in a folder.
Awesome. This looks great.
And
when can you start?
And I'm not saying for anyone that you should be doing that. Like, these are all key things you should be doing too, and staying professional is definitely a key thing, which we've definitely seen that a lot over the past weekend. There's a lot of unprofessionalism going on out there on social media.
Oh well, yeah.
But just again, for students, for me it was a way to connect with people and to still stay in Stockton, because for a while there I was thinking of going somewhere else, and not being and staying in Stockton, and not taking part in the community and taking my skill set elsewhere. So it may show you, or it may open a door for you where you find other people that you connect with. Maybe the person that you're doing an internship with there at Huddle specifically, or for myself, I met Pedro and I met Sim, and that just branched out into all these other people that were working at Huddle at the time. And I got to learn more about, like, I did pop-ups with Jeremy at Puentes, and we did pop-ups at Stock Market to sell the honey from Boggs Track. And I got to learn more about what he was trying to do. And his mission and the website and kind of look over his documents. I got to meet Cliff from Ready for Rescue and learn about his ideas and Raul and, all these different people that are part of the community. And then, of course, I got more involved and started introducing people to chambers. Well, there were some people that were involved with the chambers here in Stockton, and to realize that there's not just one chamber, right? Sometimes we're just like, there's there's just a greater chamber, right? No, there's more. There's the the African American chamber, there's the Hispanic chamber, there's the Asian American chamber. So
it was actually the Hispanic chamber that told me about Huddle, and that's only because that they were on an entrepreneur program, that they were part of I forget what it's called. It's like not a proposal, but like a grant.
Yeah, they were in a grant.
So that's how, when they told me about it, like, you should go over there. So...
Yeah, and then from there we just kind of met different people, and that's where a shout out to Leslie. We met her at some point. I met her. I don't know if but I did meet her through Huddle.
Leslie came through because Huddle. One of the other big things you want to know is like co-working spaces always have mixers, whether it's in the Bay Area or if it's out here. They always want to put something together to get people in there and really just find out what's happening, whether they're business or just in the community.
Yeah,
but
so we had like a. I feel like there was several different showcases at Huddle 1.0. Like there was a lot of art shows, and there was also, there was some other mixers that I attended where they had somebody that was local that was doing the catering, and so you got spotlighted. At some point in the mixer, you have different announcements and, kind of can highlight local people that are involved with the mixer. So I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I think she did vegan stuff.
That was one of the mixers a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember you walked in there and things happened.
Yes. And so, a lot of the people got to showcase, I was working with Mike Hopkins. Yes. And he was doing the Power Stick. And so, he's been in the industry as an engineer for 30 plus years. And so one of the things that he was, lacking, or one of his weaknesses when we got to talking a little bit more, was how to convey the product to the audience so that they're going to understand it. And so I created a PowerPoint for him, which I still have. And
wait, who was this for?
Michael Hopkins.
Oh, God.
And so, we did that. And so that's the thing too, is, as a student, you're meeting a lot of people and you're expanding your brand, and exposing people to your skill sets. And then I ended up finding work, through other people that needed it. It really was a case by case basis.
He's a pen for hire.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then of course that, it gives you all, like Pedro said, that portfolio and that work or whatever you're working on, keep it all. And
and I'm going to speak truthfully. A startup is always looking they're trying to absorb as much information, as many good talented people onto their team as possible, because you want to sell your idea that we can succeed together as a team. That's been my philosophy since day one, is that I wanted to have people on my team that see sort of the same vision that I'm going forward with, but then at the same time, they're bringing their own talents to the mix. And that's something that a co-working space definitely gives you more validity and also more professionalism. So if anyone does come in the door and they already see that you have a little bit of professionalism set up, they're more likely to give their time to help you with your idea, because you already taken the steps to establish yourself. If I would have been a guy in a bike and ran into you at a Starbucks and said, okay, I'll meet you, do you want to meet at a library or meet at a Starbucks next week? For you, that would have been, okay, this isn't as professional as I want. It's like, I'd rather just flip burgers at McDonald's. At least I know I'm going to the same place every day.
Sounds like a dating app.
Oh, God. But no, what I'm trying to say is that it makes it look better, because I take it you wouldn't have come on if we would have been bouncing all over the city and there wouldn't have been one spot.
That's definitely something that I was thinking about at the time, is you definitely, it's something that you want to go to one centralized location when you're doing some work, just because it's, some people for travel, it's costly, or it's not in the budget for them, so to speak. So sometimes that's always, something that students or myself was looking for at the time, where some, like we can just go to a central location, like for a majority of the work. I mean, I don't mind, like, cause we did a lot of events too, we did a lot of,
well, we went places, but we always had that office. And I think that for definitely a startup, like I said, if you want to have people on your team, definitely take the time to research like any little places around you. I mean, if you're going to be a home operation, then you have to be comfortable with letting people come to your home. But I think that's one of the biggest things, is once you start allowing people in, then your idea starts to blossom even more, because they're filling areas that you might not be good at. Like me, I'm a horrible writer. Ben can attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A horrible speller. I remember the first flyer he looked at, he's like, oh dear, what is this?
Yeah, I actually still have that in my portfolio. I have it before and after.
What was the one word that I jacked up so bad?
Armithin.
Armithin.
Yeah, it was supposed to be our mission, and it was missing something. It was Armithin.
Yeah, but as you see, I wouldn't have known that. It would have gone to print and everything, handing it to customers, and there's something that's like, okay, this guy doesn't know how to spell. But when you start putting things in place, like definitely a foundation, somewhere to go from. And I think a co-working space is definitely something, even if you don't pick the office and pick the center area, Huddle, I think, was like $75 a month. I think now they're about 125 for like a monthly ambassador pass. Don't quote me on those. Call Huddle.
Call Huddle. Talk to Matt.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, to be able to know you can go somewhere. There's actually, what's his name? Sam. He's always in Huddle. The engineer.
Yeah.
He's working remotely for big companies, making money, and all he is in the center co-working space. So
yeah, sometimes you just get a lot of independent contracts, and you just don't want to work at home, and you don't have an office either.
You don't also have to.
So you can work remotely there from Huddle, and I know Sam does that a lot too.
He's a one man team that he.
As long as there's a coffee shop within the radius, so she stops by at Terra. When we saw him, because he was,
about that one,
he was going to Starbucks. I was like, "Where are you going?" Starbucks. I was like, "No,
Here. Come,
sir. Let me tell you. Try this coffee, and then
it was the nitro. It was the nitro that definitely.
If there's
the only one in downtown
if there's cold brew or nitro, and you're burning the midnight oil on a job, you're glad to know that they're around.
San Francisco, Sacramento had a couple that were good.
Besides the hub or the hive,
Well, there was another one that was actually in a multi-storied building in downtown, but it just seemed a little less accessible than if it had its own front door.
That's definitely a thing too, is accessibility.
Parking.
And parking. And I know that's difficult in some places as well.
The biggest thing is always going to be parking, especially if you're in a downtown center. Luckily, Huddle, for us, we loved it so much that it had a parking garage above it. So it was private.
Yeah.
We parked our fleet, and I guess it always goes back to that sort of like, okay, you hear how people always talk about Woodstock, and it was the most unbelievable thing that they experienced in their life.
Yeah.
But then other people say, no, that was a dumpster fire, pretty much. But that's pretty much exactly what happened with us. It was the greatest point. Everything that was happening there, what happened, that moved us into the next part. But then if you try and replicate everything that happened there, it doesn't happen. So take a risk if you're going to go into a co-working space. And I mean, who knows, maybe a roaring dumpster fire might happen. A good one, that is. Trust me.
Or somebody puts an egg in the microwave, right?
Or an exploding egg. Yeah. Yes, that's pretty much
unbelievable.
Oh, there was a time that you weren't there yet, but Katie, the original Katie for Huddle, Tim's girlfriend, she had put a bagel in the microwave. I think she had this thing on for like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that, because it was pitch black. The entire co-working space was filled with smoke.
Oh, wow.
And I know when I came out, like, I remember my girlfriend was like, you smell like fire, like smoke. And it was just covered in my clothes. Everything the co-working space smelled for a good 2 weeks. It took forever to get that out. So only downside is if somebody puts something in the microwave they're not supposed to. I know I'm guilty.
I remember for like the longest time I couldn't, I don't think you were there, and I couldn't figure out luckily Sim was there. He was coming there because I couldn't figure out the alarm code, or I had to do something, and everything was going off, and I'm sitting here and I'm hitting. I thought I was hitting the right buttons, but apparently I didn't do it in the right order or hit the right thing. And then Sim was like, "What is going on?" And of course he just did whatever. I was like, "Oh, I was hitting this one. I was supposed to be hitting this button." But yeah, so
was at the last place.
Those little things that were happening that could have that only are going to happen at Huddle 1.0. But.
Yeah, well, Huddle 1.0, and like I said, just everything happened for the right reasons in there. You ran into the right people and everything.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't think...
Making connections, I think, is the most important thing. You'll hear that from every entrepreneur, right? Like, they had a great team behind them. They networked with a lot of great people, and that was the key. And, obviously some entrepreneurs had that set in place, or they knew people. But I think a co-working space is something that you definitely need to look into if that's, what you want to do is to try and build up something for yourself.
And if anything, you could always just use it for a few days. You don't have to pay for an entire month. And even get a tour. Yeah,
I think there is a tour. I know Matt does the tours, and of course I don't know what the contractual agreements are, but that's another cool thing too, is you
just
don't
one kidney.
You don't have to do it for a lengthy period of time, right? You can see if that works for you for a month, and then figure out a different alternative. But I think we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. But I just want to let people know that we do have a show on Wednesdays still at 6 p.m. We just moved it just specially for today. So you're lucky, because you're going to have 2 shows this week, not just today, but Wednesdays. So Wednesday we're going to have a special guest come on, real special guest of mine. I won't spoil anything, so you'll have to tune in, and you get to you'll find out a little bit more about how I kind of got to where I am in my career, based on what he's going to tell you in the feedback, and how we're going to chat about different things. So so definitely tune in on Wednesday at 6. We'll be here. Dustin will be here. Gov will be here. Pedro won't be here.
I'll be here maybe.
You'll be here maybe?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I have tech rehearsal at night, so.
Okay, that's right. Hey, tell them about your what you got going on this coming week, Dustin.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, join us at San Joaquin Delta College, as I am actually performing, not KXVS, but I'm performing sketch comedy show. Yeah.
Can you give us something?
July 12th, 13th, 14th, 7 p.m.
Little joke
I wrote a skit, so I'm not performing stand-up, but I wrote a skit. Just say it revolves Russians.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And we also have a new podcast on the station.
That's right. We do. We have a new wrestling podcast. In case people did not check it out, we did a pilot the other day.
Yeah, I did not flip Ben out of his seat.
No,
like something happened in New Japan last night.
No.
And
we're going to be doing that weekly too.
Yeah, next one's next Sunday actually.
Yeah, next Sunday we'll have a.
Maybe we should do it at 1:00. Maybe
we should
preview show.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's a good time.
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules. Yeah, so for all you wrestling fans out there that are interested or want to chime in, leave comments and things like that. We're, getting everything set up for this new show, logos and music. I feel like it's a whole nother ball game, but at least I know from learning from the first couple of podcasts. It's like now I know what.
Hopefully, we make it over 10 episodes with that.
Yeah, well, I think we're fine.
If people don't know the inside joke, Ben's episodes never make it past.
Yeah, my podcasts never make it past 10 episodes.
Wait a minute, but this one did.
This one did.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
make the lights flash.
And this one did because it's a heavily community based podcast. Where my previous podcasts were with other people who had other commitments, and then they weren't really they were more in control of those podcasts than I was.
Yeah,
I was talent. Is what I was.
I still think the other one is still going to make a comeback. So.
I think so. So obviously there was. One of my failures in life was this podcast, but I learned a lot from it. Not this podcast, but I had another podcast I was hyping people up about, and I'm sure you know who you are if you're in the community. Is we were going to do a pop culture podcast, which Ed obviously has kind of taken taken the reins and done his thing with phone booth. But I think we'll bring that back because we have everything all set up in place. We have documentation, we have a logo. We just need some music.
Oh, the documentation is very on
point. It's beautiful. And
yeah,
actually, I kind of want to revise it a little bit, but. Yeah, just slight tweaks. I drive him nuts because he does all of this in Illustrator,
do the graphics, and he does.
And
all
I do the writing,
yeah.
and then
and he always has one little comma or something to move. It's
something to tweak.
Oh God!
Oh, we need to change this real quick, and it's like because he does it all in the program, and I don't have that Illustrator program. That's what happens. So
yeah.
But
it's the same. I send him like, hey Ben, can you spell check that? What the hell did you just?
Yep.
H word is not.
Tune in, TOON. Tune in. Ooh, yeah. Careful with that.
I can't.
Yeah, you can't.
So just play the theme music.
Yeah, just play the theme music. We'll see you Wednesday at 6. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.